Hello and welcome to Hot Indonesia, the world's only English talk show in the world's biggest archipelago. I'm Dalton Tanonaka in Jakarta. Here is this week's HI Hot List. Vital signs. The government says all indicators point to a strong economic year. What are we doing right? Car wars. Jakarta again on the list of most congested cities. What isn't working? And trash talk. Why this crocodile stuck with a tire around his neck is a sad sign of a bigger problem. Now, here are my co-hosts each and every week. Sandrina Malakiano is a former TV news anchor, now a political marketing consultant and people lover. And Santiago Uno, former vice governor of Jakarta, business executive and sports supporter, not just basketball. I just want to mention that. Yeah. Okay, hot topic number one, vital signs. And they are good, says the country's chief economics minister. In the fourth quarter of 2019, household consumption, government spending, investment, and exports all up. Stability had been achieved, at least for a time, and Erlangga Hartarto says projections for this year are equally positive. Now, more than 5% growth last year, at least this much this year. But Sandy, you'd like to see 6 to 7%.
Yeah, but we just have to be realistic. It's going to be 5 handle. But Erlangga, other than the economic minister, the economic SARS, he's also a chairman of Golkar. So you need to separate that. Is this an economic statement?
You're saying he's cheerleading a little bit.
He's cheerleading, yeah. And although there are some, it's still very early in the year. There are some good signs that the trade deficit is down. I think kudos to the trade minister. And a lot of people don't know much about him. But he delivered in his first 100 days that the trade deficit is down, and other indicators like retail in December and January is quite strong.
And the trade minister is separate from the economics minister. Yeah. We want to make clear. Yeah.
But you need to make sure that we understand that this is very early in the year. We need to build a very good fundamentals for the rest of the year. Now, what Erlangga is not saying is that the shortfall in tax revenue, there's close to $15 billion shortfall in tax revenue. Is one of the largest recorded. Secondly is...
and they're talking about more tax revenue loss with the lower corporate taxes.
Yeah, tax revenue loss with the
omnibus bills, right.
And Sri Mulyani is having diarrhea, saying that, oh no, I have shrinking revenues and
finance minister, of course.
What about the impact of global recession now?
And we have not factored in the global recessions, trade war, and we have not factored in the new impact of the corona.
Yes.
Well, usually you're very bullish, Sandy.
I am.
Enlighten us, please, with the facts.
You need to basically make sure that you have the credibility in front of the at least the international investors as well as the people in general.
But he's been a straight shooter pretty much, Erlangga. He hasn't really been a cheerleader, has he?
He has in the past, and he's pushing this omnibus law.
Okay.
So his ministry, or he's the coordinating minister for the omnibus law, and he's in charge of the omnibus law. Yeah. So you need to make sure that we don't take our eyes off the ball.
As Sandy said, it's way too early it's in the beginning of the year, not even a quarter.
He's laying out a positive projection. Maybe.
Yeah, if it's a cheerleading, if it's building optimism, yes, he's doing his job.
Yes. For Indonesia, I mean, most of our income also comes from tourism. Right. And, you know, as Sandy said, with the coronavirus spreading globally.
Yeah, that's the worm in the apple here. I mean.
Yes. I just came from Bali. I went there and I came back. The flights were empty. People are scared to go around. And people in Bali are complaining, saying that tourism has dropped so drastically.
Well, $2 billion worth of annual revenue from Chinese visitors. That's a big
it's a huge percentage of our tourists do come from China.
Flights are banned from China, and visitors are banned.
And from China.
Yes. Yep. And not only tourism, because we have also trade relations, goods, and exports, imports.
I think it won't be as long as people fear, but it won't be as short as people want.
Yeah, we keep our fingers crossed. Yeah. And talking about the real issues, jobs are not being created. 50,000 less jobs actually recorded in the last quarter. So we have
the unemployment rate has risen.
Up.
Yeah.
Prices of goods are increasing. The mama is not happy with the price of chilies. Now it's at 100,000 rupiah per kilogram.
And that's a good indicator. The price of chilies is like the Big Mac indicator in the States.
Yeah, and the cost of healthcare is increasing with the healthcare insurance premium up. And many indicators actually putting us in a very cautious.
Okay, but let me give you two more positive indicators. The currency is usually a good indicator of optimism. The rupiah has strengthened more than 4% in the past 3 months. After it's now sitting around 13.7. Most of last year was around 14 or above. That indicates confidence.
Yeah, that indicates that the yield is very attractive here. So a lot of foreign capital coming in.
Yeah.
Some we labeled hot money. So when they flow in, the rupiah strengthen. But that shows that there is some hope and optimism.
But a lot of homework needs to be done because we have been surpassed by Vietnam as place for investment in Indonesia. Indonesia has gone down on the tables.
Okay. But one more positive indicator. JP Morgan says Indonesian stocks will hit a record this year, projecting a near 20% in the benchmark index. Now,
not in the last 2 weeks.
Well, okay.
That's basically collapsed.
That was probably done in late December or early January.
Yeah.
You know, they point to the reforms in the labor laws, the omnibus bills, plans for lower corporate taxes. That's why they're projecting a bullish market.
Last year in ASEAN alone, Indonesia is number 6. Under Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Brunei, and Vietnam, and then Indonesia.
As far as foreign investment?
For foreign investment.
Okay.
So
I'd like
we should do better.
With a positive and optimistic tone, though. That I think at the end of the day, we have some catalysts like the omnibus law, and we have some early indications, as Pak Erlangga Hartarto has mentioned.
Yeah.
Now we need to build around that optimism, pass this bill very quickly because we have only very limited window.
Yeah.
I've been saying this 5 times like a broken record already. And lastly, you need to make sure that what I'm very worried is the people who live around with 1.8 to $2 per day. It's still at 7.5%. Some other countries like Vietnam or Pakistan is even lower than us. So we need to make sure that if there is an external shocks, we have a built-in mechanism so that people, especially at the bottom of the pyramid, would be able to.
Yeah, of course. They're the ones feeling it the most because people who buy stocks and worry about currency fluctuation, that's not them. Yeah, okay, and that's most of the people in this country. Okay, Hot Indo will continue shortly. Car wars. Why isn't traffic getting better in the capital? You're watching Hot Indonesia with Sandrina, Sandy, and me. Here's hot topic number 2, car wars. Jakarta remains in the top 10 of a list no one wants to be on. The TomTom Traffic Index rates 416 cities in 57 countries for extra time lost in traffic. And Jakarta came in 10th with 53% extra travel time. The worst city for lost time is Bengaluru in India. They lose 71% extra time in traffic. Now in the region, Manila is at number 2, Bangkok just behind us at number 11. The Amsterdam survey company uses GPS technology to make the list. Now we actually moved up though the year before from 7th place. So we're doing okay, but we're still stuck in traffic.
Yeah, and with the rainy seasons, it's actually worse than impact that we see. So I guess we should use this forum to continue to push the residents of Jakarta to convert to public transport.
Sure, the new transport system is designed to help take the people off the streets.
And I think the move from 7th worst traffic to 10th is thanks to a better public transport system.
I think so.
But not enough. So we need to...
It's a start. 90,000 people every day off the streets riding the subway. That's 90,000 people.
That was what TomTom research?
Yes.
I think yes, because different research, different methodology, and different results. Because
well, they're selling GPS technology is what they're doing. So
late last year, around September or October, the Asian Development Bank also made a research And actually, it's Bandung, not Jakarta, Indonesia's most traffic congested city.
Yeah, I think this survey was looking at major cities.
Yeah. So, but then again, there's good news because aside from that fact, we just won an award from Jakarta in terms of transportation because of the success seen in Jakarta for the development of the BRT and the Trans-Jakarta system.
Yes.
And
award from who?
The award came from here.
Indonesia.
Honorable mention and the Sustainable Transport Award 2020. It was announced in Fortaleza, Brazil.
Okay.
And the award was given by the Committee of Sustainable Transport. This is also annually from 2005. They go to major cities.
Why doesn't it feel like it on some days?
Yeah.
We're improving.
But we have to agree, like Sandy said, I mean, the public transportation, I mean, they managed to go to 300% almost, and 200% commuters using transportation in less than 3 years.
So I guess it's not going to be solved within the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, it's
when
not
I
overnight,
when I was running for, and this is very, I was very open about it. I was asked during the debate, are you going to be able to solve the traffic problem? I said, no. I won't be able for the next 5 years because it's a 25 years of work. And because I think it's going to be a collaborations. The people needs to help by shifting, using public transport. And I think we need to increase with the electronic road pricing.
That works in other countries.
It's 3 years delay because some legal issues around basically the implementations of the electronic road pricing. But when you make people pay, and it's painful for them to continue to drive.
It has to be a combination of many
the odd even license plate thing.
An odd even license plate.
Traffic cameras.
That could also be seen that the odd and even numbers is actually moving the congestion into other parts of Jakarta. What you should bear in mind is that, okay, the public transportation system is being developed massively, but there is another issue that people tend to forget. The ownership of private cars and motorcycles is also increasing.
Car sales last year, 850,000. Industry projections 2020 to 1 million.
See, I mean, people continue.
More vehicles on the road.
People continue to buy, and because there's demand for
rising incomes,
growing middle income,
and it's so easy to buy one. The credit terms are too easy,
especially for motorcycles.
Yeah,
I mean,
you just put $5 down, and then you can pay monthly. I think it's a little too easy.
And at the end of the day, it's the economics of the transportations. They feel that, okay, some traffic jam, but it's more convenient. But look at other cities. Bangkok was really, really horrible. But they improved. Beijing also.
With their mass transit system. The SkyTrain came in, and I remember Bangkok in the 90s. It was terrible.
And we think
worse than here.
We could do better with the. I guess we need to expedite the extensions of North-South MRT that will start hopefully by the end of this year, constructions, and then the East-West.
I think should be improved
and
also.
the LRT system is being built.
Integrated system.
And then there's elevated loop line, and obviously the Jaklingko to make sure that the last miles are being addressed. So people now basically combining the online transportations with public transport, and this is, I think, it's going to be massive impact. But we need everybody to chip in. They need to collaborate.
You know what's amusing or sad to see sometimes? You see people in private cars with one person in it, and you see motorbikes with 7 people on it.
You see, like Singapore.
Oh, come on, that's exaggeration.
You want me to show you a picture?
There's no more 7 people. No, that's not allowed.
Like 2 kids in a bucket. You know, I've seen that. I mean, it's funny, but it's a hazard too. It's not safe.
Maybe,
that's not safe.
A lot of people would maybe be against it, but look at Singapore. I mean, they put really high taxes on private car ownership.
No, you can do it when
because they already have the system.
There's alternative. You can do it for the MRT lines that is served by MRT and by the Transjakarta. You put a road tax and you put the electronic road pricing and make them think to switch to public transport.
And in Japan, you can't buy a car unless you can guarantee and show you have a parking space.
Yes.
See, so that's another way to control.
I think it's the same in Paris.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
very,
many countries
yeah.
do that. You know, I think,
France.
of course, here it helps if you have a driver, but here it's not a luxury. People think, wow, you have drivers. It's a necessity because of the traffic
Yes.
problem. Hopefully,
It's
as
too
it gets
time
better,
and
you won't
energy
get it.
consuming.
Yeah,
to
nobody
be-
wants to drive. But actually, I get a lot of work done, don't you? When you're in traffic, a lot of work
And
done.
you get to catch up on rest.
Yeah.
You sleep in the car.
Yeah, don't sleep when you're driving. Yes, I'm doing.
And
Okay.
that's the social media consumption increase.
There you go.
During
Yeah,
the-
you're tweeting while you're in traffic. Okay, more Hot Indo is ahead with Trash Talk. Why this poor creature is literally stuck in the middle of a bigger problem. You're watching Hot Indonesia from Jakarta. Hot topic number 3, trash talk. Now here is a sad picture. This 4-meter-long crocodile lives in the Palu River in central Sulawesi. He's had a rubber tire wedged around his neck since first sighted 4 years ago. The local government recently offered a reward for anyone to remove it, but the contest was canceled. I guess no one wanted to risk their life for a
Yes.
fried chicken voucher. I don't know
The
what they
sad
offered, but
thing
anyway.
is that, I mean, this crocodile has been wearing that motorcycle tire since 2016.
Yeah, it's a man-made problem. Man's got to correct it.
They say the problem is they cannot find the alligator and to deal. I mean, if they could catch it, then it would be easy, but it keeps disappearing. But like, come on,
The
since
GPS technology, we
2000
can do it.
Tag him.
Once they
dart
get
him
him.
with the tranquilizer.
How did they
or
get the
something.
pictures, right? Of him,
Yeah.
so they should be able to get him.
It's
Very
been
sad.
4 years. 4 years.
Okay, let me go back to the bigger issue.
I think we
Is-
should call it motorcycle tire.
Okay, well, I'm calling him Kelly the crocodile, just for nothing to do
Yeah.
with Birkin. Okay, the bigger issue is the pollution of our rivers and ocean sewage.
Indeed,
Of course,
indeed.
you know, sewage management is not a priority of our at the moment. So stuff gets dumped into the nearest waterway. Enforcement is weak. It's not good, and that's why Kelly's in big trouble.
I know. And tires, actually, it's quite common. You find it everywhere, on land, on water. You could find spring beds in
I see stoves passing by when I'm golfing sometimes in the river.
refrigerator doors.
I see whole cows sometimes. No, I'm exaggerating.
No, but refrigerator doors.
Yeah,
they
of course.
they throw away anything. But
Because
even-
there's no other way to dispose of it because of
No.
But the worst thing is that the small things also, like cigarette butts, and it contains plastic,
Of course.
and straws.
Is there garbage collection here? There's
Yeah.
not.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
city doesn't go house to house like in middle class society. I guess what I mean.
They
You
do.
pay for in complex and in residential areas. You pay for security and for.
What I mean is taxes don't pay for everyday
Yeah,
garbage
some
collection.
communities live by the river
Bayang
banks.
Dinas Kebersihan Kota.
And those, basically we need to educate them. Like this tire takes about 60 years to decompose. And it contains
Kelly
toxic,
can't wait 60 years for it to decompose.
toxic chemicals and heavy metals. It could contaminate groundwater. So educations, and you need to have the enforcement as well. When we deal with the matter in Jakarta at the City Hall, we have this close to, I guess, 40, 50,000, we call it Orange Forces, Pasukan Oranye, to help the city deal with trash. And
I mean, actually picking up, going
picking
around.
up and collect and
But I
make
don't
sure
know the exact number now, because I've been hearing news that the number has decreased.
it
because
went
Pasukan
up all
Oranye?
the way to around 60, 70,000. And I think some contract was not renewed. But it proven to be a very effective way to educate the people how to deal with plastic
Educate
trash.
the people, especially it's been a way of life here,
Yeah.
a part of culture where people don't care. You see them going with prestigious cars and the
then
highways
throwing-
and
Yeah,
just
so
throwing.
it's family practice. I mean, kids learn from what their parents do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So actually, if we learn from Singapore, it's very clean because they have very high fines. If you throw away like a chewing gum or
first
just
you cannot have chewing gum in Singapore.
Right.
Well,
Well,
it is banned.
You can't sell it, but I can go in and chew it. But
Yeah.
I
yeah,
can't
but
toss it on
if
the
you
street. Yeah.
toss it in just as small as a chewing gum, you get fined.
And they enforce. That's
Yeah.
the difference too.
That's what the problem
I've seen
is
people get
here.
ticketed for jaywalking.
Yeah, I was in New York during the winter, and I think it's not just problems in cities like Jakarta or Palu, but also in other big cities as well. It's generally you need to continue to educate. City officials needs to be very belligerent in enforcing and create a system whereby you get punished when you break that law by throwing your garbage into the waters, and make sure that river or ocean is your porch, not your backyard, because you are judged by the way you're, front facing. You need to. It's like your front office, not your back office.
It's going to take hard work. I mean, all the stakeholders, the people, the government,
Start somewhere, though.
NGOs, because
In the home.
yes, you have to start from small.
Yep.
Think big, but act small. Think globally, act locally. Start with yourself. But
You're getting all of those in there.
no, wait. What we have to also change is the habit of the people. Say in the villages, they go and wash their laundry with detergent in the rivers, and they use it as their
That's water quality
toilet.
problem now, which is another big problem, which we will
Yes.
discuss soon. And I hope soon relief comes to Kelly,
Just,
because let's get this tire.
One
off.
last point is basically this new employment created by this is called green jobs. So you educate and you have volunteers, because young people do care about the environment.
I think they're learning.
My
They do,
daughter
yes.
is really particular about environment, and if
Yeah,
you
our
offer
children
them volunteering and making sure that there's a social entrepreneurship to deal with this
That's
issue,
cool.
I think a lot of this will be solved.
Okay, it's
And
feedback time.
For
Now we
the
gotta
alligator,
go real
yes,
quick. Yeah.
I agree. They have to take it off
Hey, let's
this
rescue
year.
him. Let's three of us go
Let's-
and
yeah.
you hold him down, Sandy, and Sandrina and I will.
I'll cut the tire.
man.
Let's try this through social media.
Yeah.
Maybe the power of
But
social
no, but
media
people
will
be
help.
safe. This is a big crock.
No,
Yeah.
Experts must deal
There are
with
experts.
this.
There are
Yeah.
experts.
All right, it's feedback time now, and we want to hear from you wherever you are watching us. This WhatsApp message came from Handi in Hong Kong. Human beings once again need to demonstrate our resilience in tough times. Yes, Handi, it's always amazing to see people who come together in times of crisis, whether it's political conflict like in Hong Kong or medical emergency. Sony Tan posted this on Twitter following our discussion of the problems at the national broadcaster TVRI. You discussed this, but don't invite President Director Helmi Yahya. Ethical, huh? Well, Sony, this is not a show where we invite guests. It's an opinion show, and the focus was not Helmi. It was about TVRI's corporate culture. I hope that explains that. Okay, here's how to contact us with your feedback. Email at hotindo@theindonesiachannel.com or comment through our Hot Indonesia or Indonesia Channel Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube pages. Final words, Sandrina.
Yes, February 4th is commemorated as World Cancer Day, and since 2019 until 2021, the theme is I Am and I Will. So this is a campaign, empowering call to action, urging to personal commitment and represent the power of individual action taken now to impact the future. So as ambassador of the prevention against cervical cancer, women out there, if you are married, please do this annual pap smear test, because if you wait for symptoms, it might be too late. There are no symptoms in the early stages. For you not to forget, do it on the month where you have your birthday every year.
All right.
So stay happy, stay healthy.
Madam Ambassador. Okay, final word, Sandy.
I'm actually very sad looking at the small pockets of reactions from some Natuna people receiving guests from the people who were in Wuhan. We should actually embrace and welcome them. They have endured a very tragic 2 to 3 weeks in isolations. So we as fellow countrymen must really open up our arms and accept them into our communities and through the standard operating procedures. I wear this shirt. Alhamdulillah, we're fine.
Yeah.
Thank God we're fine. But we should exercise our care, our compassion, the core values to our brothers and sisters. In fact, we should help our brothers and sisters in Australia also with the bushfires, and this is where Indonesians needs to step up. We are the 4th largest country in the world, and we need to show some really wisdom in helping the neighbor problems.
Yeah, and don't overact negatively as we talked about last week. Okay, my final words. This week, a historical figure in Indonesian history turns 80 years old. Dewi Sukarno was the 5th wife of the country's founding father. She would help bridge post-World War II relations between Indonesia and Japan, and now leads a still active life in Tokyo. So happy birthday, Ibu Dewi, and many more.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And that's Hot Indonesia for this week. For Sandrina Malakiano, Sandy Agono, and me, thank you for watching, and please join us again next time.